أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Today inshallah we are going to study the Rafa pronouns, and that forms the 23rd lesson in catch-up series. So let's begin with our lesson. Okay, so as you can see, I have a couple of pointers on the screen, and we are going to, as usual, address them one by one. Okay, what are pronouns? Pronouns are words such as he, she, it, they, I, we, ours, etc. Okay, they're all pronouns. Why are they present? Why do they exist? Okay, what is their usage? Why do we need them? We need them to avoid repetition. How? We use them in place of an ism in order to avoid repetition. Okay, that's what their purpose is. That's why we use them. And next thing that we need to know is that they are always marfa. Okay, so this is something that we have already covered in the previous lessons, that there are 7 situations for an ism to be considered to be as marfa, and being a pronoun is just one of those 7 things. Okay, so this is what. All right, now the important thing that we all know, and however that is kind of at the back of our minds and we don't really pay much attention to it, is that we cannot interchange the pronouns. For example, if I say he helped his, or he helped I, that would be wrong, right? Because he helped me, that would have been correct. You cannot use I interchangeably with me or mine. Okay, why? Because that would be wrong. Okay, simply. So what does this signify? Why isn't it the case? You see, we have to have this demarcation so that we know what is being talked about, what is the role of that ism that is being replaced by this pronoun. We need to know this, whether it's the maf'ul that is being substituted by that pronoun, or that is a file that is being substituted by the pronoun, or is it something else. Okay, so we cannot use these pronouns interchangeably. Okay, I cannot say that me is driving. That is absolutely wrong. Okay, I am driving. Similarly, he, or rather, if I say him is driving, that is wrong. So you can very easily say that the word he is like a Rafa pronoun because it is replacing a file. Okay, it's like a doer in the sentence, and him is something like a maf'ul in the sentence. Okay, so how can you really use them interchangeably? No, you cannot use them interchangeably. Okay, you cannot exchange their positions. Okay, now based on this knowledge, you can say that a pronoun may substitute either a file. For example, he helped Seth. You're not going to say him helped Seth, or uh, her helped Seth, or our helped Seth, me helped Seth. That would be wrong. Okay, so we have to use the correct form of pronoun if we are replacing a file. Okay, the words, or rather the pronouns that replace a file, are called Rafa pronouns, and that is what we are going to see and study and inshallah memorize in this lesson. Okay, now we are done with the Rafa pronouns. What if the pronoun is substituting a maf'ul in the sentence? For example, Zaid helped him, not Zaid helped I, or Zaid helped he, but him. So you see, you are not going to use he or his or anything else. You're going to use him. Okay, so we have replaced the noun which was maf'ul with a pronoun, and in such scenarios the pronoun that substitutes maf'ul is called a nasab pronoun. Okay, because remember how we did various situations for an ism to be either Rafa, Nasab or Jar, and being a maf'ul is one of those reasons when an ism is in nasab form. So a nasab pronoun is the one that substitutes a maf'ul in a sentence. Finally, if it is a possessor, all right, that a pronoun is substituting, then of course we are going to use jar pronouns. Okay, for example, his brother, and then once again his brother. Okay, now here in the first sentence it is being used as a maf'ul, but here it is being used as a fa'il. Doesn't matter, you can use it. However, it's the phrase that counts. Okay, you're not going to say he brother helped Zed. Nope, that would be wrong. Or uh, uh, we brother helped Zed. That would be wrong. All right, or he brother helped Zed. That would be wrong. It has to be his brother helped Zed. Or Zed helped him brother. That would be wrong. And similarly, Zed helped he brother. Once again, wrong. Okay, so when it is being alluded that he is his brother, for example, then it has to be his. And since it is replacing a possessor, it is going to be called as a jar pronoun. All right, I hope that this was clear. Now the next thing that we need to know is actually a good news, and that is that we only need to know the Rafa pronouns. Okay, the pronouns for nasab and jar forms are identical in Arabic. All right, so while we have different words for him and his, or hers or her, my or mine in, or me in English, that's not the case in Arabic. All right, so you'll have to learn the Rafa pronouns, and then only nasab or jar pronouns. They are identical to each other, as we noticed was the case in the suffixes for musanna and jama salim and all these things. Okay, that's the same thing. All right, so now we have our Rafa pronouns. Okay, as you can see, we have the pronouns that can either be third person, which means he, she, it, they, all of them, both of them. Okay, and then we have the words or other pronouns which are for second person, so you, all of you, both of you. Okay, and then first person pronouns are the ones that the speaker uses, so I or we. Okay, I or we. Okay, now one thing that I would want you to know is that for the third person pronouns, Rafa pronouns of course, and the nasab jar ones too, they are going to begin with ha. Okay, so huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Okay, and also notice that for the second person pronouns, you're going to have some form of ant. All right, so either it's going to be anta or anti or antu. Okay, so anta is for masculine, wahid. Anti, all right, so this is fatha and this is kasra, is for feminine. Anti is for feminine. And then antuma, both of them, both the musannas, in fact all the musannas are ending with ma. All right, and then noon is kind of signature suffix for your masculine, I'm sorry, for your feminine jama. All right, so you can see noon here and you can see noon here. Okay, and hum and tum, all right, antum, all right, so this is for your jama, this thing masculine. Okay, so let's see it once again. Huwa, huma, hum. I'm going to tell you what they mean in a while, okay? First, just get acquainted with these pronouns. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu. Okay? So this was your these were your Rafa pronouns. Okay. The next thing that I would like you to notice is the fact that you have the identical musanna forms for masculine and feminine. All right. So for third person, you have huma huma. For the second person, you have antuma antuma. Okay. And then, as I had mentioned it before as well, that you have unna, or rather tunna, all right, for your feminine jama, and then you have hunna for your feminine jama, for third person. All right, and tunna is for second person. Okay, so with these things already in our minds, let's proceed further. Okay, now another very important thing about the Rafa pronouns is that you are always going to mention or imagine an imaginary auxiliary verb right after the Rafa pronouns. Okay, why? Because whenever, well, in Arabic there is no concept of auxiliary verbs. Well, pretty much. Okay. Uh, However, in English and in other languages, perhaps even in Urdu, we need a verb of any kind to complete a sentence. Okay, so for example, if I say that he is running or he is a teacher. Okay, now the word he is a noun and the word teacher is also a noun. No matter how many nouns you have in a sentence, until and unless you have a verb in the sentence, you're not going to call that set of words a sentence. Okay, because in English you need to have some form of verb to call it a sentence, and it could either be a main verb such as running or ran. He ran, for example. Okay, so ran is your main verb and it tells you a tense, so it's a sentence. Okay, but if I say he running, okay, or he teacher, like I mentioned before, you need to have some sort of verb, and this is where the auxiliary verbs come in. What are auxiliary verbs? They are words such as is, are, am, were, will. All right, all these words, was. Okay, they are auxiliary verbs, or simply the helping verbs. So you are going to imagine an appropriate auxiliary verb right after the Rafa pronoun. That is why I've written them here in the subscript. Okay, so huwa means he, and you're going to uh, mention right after this huwa, or you're going to imagine right after this huwa an auxiliary verb, because remember, Rafa pronouns are fa'il. All right, and what are fa'il proceeded with? They are followed by an auxiliary verb in English, of course. Okay, because we are translating in English. So huwa is your he, and of course slash it if you're translating in English. Then next you have huma, both of them, masculine as well as feminine, and of course our auxiliary verb. Next we have hum, all of them, masculine or a collective noun. Okay, so men and women included, that would be your collective noun. Next we have hiya. Notice how all of them are beginning with her. Hiya is she. Okay, and then we have huma once again, both of them feminine, and then hunna. Hunna is all of them feminine. Okay, and the appropriate auxiliary verb here is are or were. Okay, hunna. So huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Great. Next we have second person pronouns such as you, both of you, all of you. All right, so as I had mentioned before, anta, here you have fatha on the ta for masculine, you'll have a kasra on the ta for feminine. Anta, anti. Antuma and antuma are going to remain the same for masculine and feminine. Okay, and it's the context that's going to tell you which one is being used. Okay, whether it's feminine or masculine. Next you have antum, all of you. Once again, either collective or for masculines only. It's dependent upon the context. Okay, antuna, all of you. Now these pronouns are something that I would want you to memorize. Okay, I'm telling you the tips alongside these lessons, or alongside these pronouns, so that it gets easier for you to memorize. But of course, if you can come up with a better way of memorizing these pronouns, of course, by all means follow those ways. Okay, at the end of the day, it's the pronouns, it's you knowing these pronouns that counts. Okay, so whatever works for you. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, and finally we have ana for I, nahnu for we. Ana is I am, nahnu is we are, we were. All right, so I hope that this is clear, inshallah. Once again, huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu. Okay, with this we are going to end this lesson, and we are going to memorize this really good, inshallah. And then in the next lesson we are going to cover your nasab or jar kinds of pronouns. Okay, till that lesson, barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al Hakim. Allah Hafiz.